Good Friday morning to you. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich, and this is your outlook for January 9th, 2015. And we're going to start off a little bit differently this morning. We're going to start off right off with the NAM 4-kilometer future simulated radar, and this is the high resolution version of the NAM. And we're going to start off here at 2 a.m. and we're keeping an eye on here on this this area here of snow. And any image I'm showing here going forward here is anything you see in green, just ignore it. It is not going to be rain. This is all falling in the form of snow. And this is that line we're talking about that's going to be moving through if you're watching the video very early in the morning. This is the line we were watching and keying on here for the very early hours of the morning before the morning rush of this snow coming in here. And the NAM has gotten a little bit more robust with this coming through. And looking at the latest radar trends, I can see why. Here's a look at 4 o'clock in the morning. You can see this, whoops, a little bit too far. We'll go up to 4 o'clock in the morning. You got a pretty good band starting to form here with some pretty heavy precip. Again, this is on here showing very heavy rain, which would be almost 30 dBZs, but this is going to be in the form of snow. So if it's falling that intense in the form of snow, we're talking about some pretty blinding snow with this band coming through here. It might be one of those like a snow squall almost, but a little more prolonged of a snow squall. Then that moves further east here at 5 o'clock in the morning. You can see the algorithms of this model are actually trying to pick up the fact that, oh yes, it's snow because it's 12 degrees. So obviously this is all snow here everywhere it's showing this heavy precip. So this band will move through here again. This is going to be favoring areas north and west of Philadelphia. We're going to get some snowflakes in Philadelphia, but the heaviest band, I think, is going to be concentrated in this area here, and that is going to extend up into northern New Jersey up here as this propagates east. The bottom of this is going to collapse and up to the and head up to the northeast. So none of this area down here won't get into the heavier stuff. Will be some snow showers as this moves through also. And you can see that here moving up into northern Jersey. You see it kind of consolidates there, and then everything consolidates into northeastern New Jersey here. And here's a look at 8 o'clock. So everything's pretty much out of Pennsylvania by that point. This is just a primarily pre-dawn hours event in Pennsylvania. Still going on here, you know, during the morning commute here in New Jersey and around New York City. So just be careful if you are driving. So if you run into that, especially if you're on the interstate, you know, if you get into one of those blinding squalls, it might be best just to pull over for a little bit until it lightens up a little bit. I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be too terrible, but most areas here are going to be in a coating to an inch, probably closer to the inch in those areas where we showed that band, which is right about here. Anywhere these in these heavier bands here, anywhere in here can probably be expect to be closer to an inch of accumulation. Some areas maybe up north here, in the northeastern parts, northwestern New Jersey, might even get up to about 1.5 inches. So I would not be surprised to see that at all. And then this moves off the coast, and that's out of here. Also looking at the RGEM, this is a short-range Canadian model. This has been very, very consistent over the last couple of days, showing the same exact thing. And they're showing the same thing with this band that's sitting over mainly eastern Pennsylvania with the heavier bands. Does extend a little bit further to the south here. Now, this isn't liquid equivalent. This is not going to show you rain and snow. This is actually showing between a tenth and 0.15 inches of liquid equivalent. So when you add that into, translate that into snow, you're talking about it between 1 inch and 1.5 inches. That's assuming a 10-to-1 ratio. Might actually be a little bit higher than that. So we'll say 1 to 2 is basically 1 to 2 inches. The RGEM is suggesting that will fall in the early morning hours from this band of snow. So we'll just keep an eye on that. I think 2 would be your max potential. And that would be everything falls into place, you get 2 inches. So, and after that, it's going to be out of here, but it's going to fall in a couple hours' time. So it's going to come down pretty furious there for some places in the meantime. Let's go a little bit further now. We're going to talk about our next system here. First of all, we'll get through Friday, Saturday. Saturday and Sunday are actually going to be pretty nice days. They're going to be pretty cold here. After this system here, this is what's responsible for the snow today. And this area low pressure is going to drag a cold front through the area. Once that cold front moves through here, the winds are going to pick up, and we're going to get gusty winds to about 30 miles per hour in some locations. Actually, most locations will get to 30-mile-an-hour winds. You can see that by the tight isobars here, pretty much right on top of each other. And going a little bit further here, we get into Saturday, and Saturday high pressure is going to move in, so we're going to have a bright sunny day. Very cold though. Temperatures are going to be struggling to get out of the teens in many locations. So it's going to be another cold day again like it was yesterday. And then that high pressure is going to slide off to the east. Because it's doing that on Sunday with high pressure east, that return flow is going to return to the southwest around this high pressure, and we're actually going to warm up probably close to the freezing mark in many locations, and maybe even slightly above here as we get down towards Philadelphia. So going a little bit further now, we're going to get into Monday. This is our next system. This is going to be an overrunning event here, and there's been different handling of this system between the models here. I don't think this is going to be, this is not a big storm by any means. It's going to be definitely on the light side. Not a lot of moisture to work with, but there's going to be there's definitely showing some icing involved with this system here, and thankfully this is a light system. We're not talking about a major ice storm, but I think up in these areas here you can pretty much rest assured you're going to get snow out of this. Not looking at icing up there. It's this middle ground right in here that we're worried about for a potential for freezing rain, and that freezing rain could go on a pretty good majority of the day on Monday, and here that's showing that this is the GFS's thoughts of what's going to happen there. The problem is this is a high pressure that's sitting right up here over New England, pretty strong high, just funneling cold air into the system. So the surface temperatures are actually below 32, right below this line. Actually, I'll get rid of this line here so you can see. The surface temperatures are actually below 32, right where I'm drawing here. Everything to the northwest, anything up here is below 32 degrees. So anything that's falling, even though the mid-levels are warming, and they're above 32, say, 3, 4, 5,000 feet, it doesn't really matter because your surface temperatures are actually below zero, or excuse me, below 32. So anything falling, even as rain, will hit the ground and freeze on contact, and that's why we think we're going to have some freezing rain. And then far enough away from that advection of warm air, you would have some light snow falling here up in the northern tier. And I think that's really the best case scenario we're looking at on Monday. It's really not, GFS is actually not off, or really off too far on what it's showing here. And then before it ends, it might go back over to snow for a little bit. And then just head out of here. This is actually a very weak system, so don't expect a lot. Areas you get a few freezing rain, might get like an inch of snow, maybe a couple tenths of an inch of freezing rain, then maybe another inch of snow on the back end, something like that. So that's a pretty good scenario. Areas that stay all snow could have like a 1 to 3, 2 to 4 inch type deal, and that's out of here. Next thing we're going to have is high pressure nosing down from the north, so this is going to clear out of here nicely. Tuesday is actually going to be a mostly sunny day under that high pressure control. And then we get into Wednesday, the high pressure kind of sticks around here. Now, I really don't want to get too far into the future here because there's been some model disagreement on what happens after that. All right, we're going to have another system gathering down here to our south, and that it's going to move up the coast, and at some point, a couple different solutions with this. This can either just slide out to sea like the couple models have been showing doing, or it could come up the coast and be a big storm. All right, there's a couple different solutions with this. Big storm gathering right here, and that's going to be in the Thursday night, Friday time frame. So we're going to have to watch this because there's some very favorable setups here that will allow for at least an interior major snowfall if everything were to come together correctly. So we'll just have to watch and see what happens with that, how it involves. I don't want to get too involved in this now because we have to see. We obviously have a system on Monday that we have to worry about first, and of course today with the early snow showers. We'll get into this when we get a little bit closer in range and the models are in better agreement. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich. That is your outlook for January 9th, 2015. Have a great Friday.